This is the Cholo News Report for Thursday 04 January 2018. A suicide bomber attacks a mosque in Gambaru, Nigeria, killing 11 people. Only the muezzin has survived and we believe more bodies are buried under the debris, Umar Kachala, a civilian militiaman, told the news agency AFP. On Tuesday, Boko Haram leader Abubakar Shekau released a video message claiming responsibility for a series of attacks across Nigeria's northeast over the Christmas period. A new Icelandic law goes into effect which requires government agencies and companies with more than 24 full-time employees to prove they are paying men and women equally, as required by existing legislation. The law, which was passed last year and went into effect on Monday, is believed to be the first of its kind in the world and covers both the private and public sectors. The policy change comes after years of discussion and pilot testing, based on frustration with the fact that several gender equity laws were not budging the actual pay gap. Iceland is one of several countries that have stepped up their contributions to groups that work on behalf of women's reproductive and sexual health, such as the UN Population Fund and She Decides. Winter storm Eleanor moves from the British Isles to continental Europe with 1 dead in France as well as injuries and material losses in Germany, Netherlands and Switzerland. The storm, which hit most of northern Europe after battering the UK, has also cut power to tens of thousands of homes and affected transport. In northern France, the storm cut power to more than 200,000 households, and Eleanor is set to move to other regions throughout the day, including Corsica. The Met Office recorded gusts reaching 100 miles per hour overnight on Wednesday, with a weather yellow warning still in place for Wales, England, most of Northern Ireland and parts of southern Scotland. Ethiopian Prime Minister Haile Mariam Desalegn announces that Ethiopia will drop charges against all political prisoners and close down the infamous prison camp of Mekelawi. Prime Minister Haile Mariam Desalegn's comments came after months of sometimes deadly anti-government protests, the most serious since the current government came to power in 1991. The demonstrations engulfed much of the restive Oromia and Amur regions, and spread into other parts of the East African country, leading to a months-long state of emergency that has since been lifted. Tens of thousands of people were arrested, and reportedly hundreds were killed during the protests demanding wider freedoms that began in late 2015, and disrupted one of Africa's fastest-growing economies. 2 new Democratic Senators Duke Jones of Alabama and Tina Smith of Minnesota are sworn in, bringing the Republican majority down to 5,149. Tina Smith, who was appointed to replace Al Franken following the Democrats' resignation over accusations of sexual misconduct. Smith also plans to compete in the special election taking place in November to complete the final 2 years of Franken's term. Jones, 63, who will represent one of the most conservative states in the nation, is stressing his desire to work with both parties. U.S. President Donald Trump dissolves the Voter Fraud Commission, noting the cost to the public of litigating against lawsuits from states objecting to the voter information requested. The White House said in a statement despite substantial evidence of voter fraud, many states have refused to provide the Presidential Advisory Commission on Election Integrity with basic information relevant to its inquiry. Rather than engage in endless legal battles at taxpayer expense, today signed an executive order to dissolve the commission, and he has asked the Department of Homeland Security to review its initial findings and determine next courses of action.